Hi, I'm Linda. Glad to have you back. Today I'm doing a painting of a national forest. A friend of mine took this photograph while hiking. It is quite beautiful. It's real foggy in the background. It has some evergreens in front and a lake with some beautiful rocks. So I hope you can follow me. Pause and paint. I know you're going to love this one. So let's get started. So here are the oils I used: titanium white, black, phthalo blue, Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, sap green, cad yellow, and red. And I've prepared my canvas with a coat of gray acrylic. That's white with a touch of black, and I let it dry completely. In the next segment you'll see I'll be using acrylic paint. So now I had mixed a little white with a touch of black to make a very, very light gray acrylic. Now I am making little trees, barely see them in the back there. It's about a quarter of the way down. I'm going to make a row of pine trees. And they will vary in shades of gray. Just remember it's acrylic and I'm not using oil right at the moment. But I'm going to be making a here and there, tall, short, crooked, whatever you want there. I'm just putting in some little evergreens with a fan brush. And this row of trees will be in the fog. So I want them really light, some medium, and some rather dark, but I'm just making lines now to just make my trees. They don't have to be perfect because they're going to be far, far in the distance. Just making the ones on the end a little bit darker. Now you'll see what I've got here in acrylic. I made the shadow underneath them, like upside down trees into the water. And I've made some rocks in the very, very front, the bottom of the canvas. So now I'm taking a little bit of liquid clear and I'm putting that all over my canvas. Not a lot. In fact, I might take a blue shop towel and just wipe it off a little bit because you don't want a lot on this. So now I'm taking a really, really light powder blue. It's white with just a touch of phthalo blue in there. And I'm doing little X strokes. You can see the blue there, blue sky. Just you want it really, really pale, because that's going to be a foggy area. I'm just going to go right down over the top of those trees that are in acrylic. Now you've let that dry really good. It's not going to hurt it. So you just go down there with your pale, pale blue, and you can even add a little white in there. And then I take a blender brush or a 2-inch dry and I just go across and I blend, pull down that paint over the tops of the reflections. And now I'm taking a piece of paper towel, you can use a shop towel, and just lightly going over the top of those trees. And now I'm taking a very, very, some phthalo blue with a little bit of white. It's not real, real dark. Probably darker at the bottom than at the top. But now I'm wiping to expose those rocks in the water. Just blending back and forth. Maybe adding a little blue there by the shadows of those trees. Just blending it in. Now I'm taking some pure white titanium on a little 1-inch, and I'm tapping in the base of those trees because I want to add a more foggy look. So I'm doing circular motions, blend it in as good as you can. You can take a little shop rag and go over the top lightly to expose those trees. But it makes for a really nice foggy look. And then blend. There I am taking a paper towel, just gently going over the shadows of the trees in the water. Now I'm taking a fan brush, I'm just putting little light areas of white in the water. Just little water lines, trying to keep it fairly straight. So now I'm taking a palette knife with a dark color, could be a dark brown, and just making some straight lines way in the back there, kind of in front of those trees, because these are going to be closer pine trees. Because a few of these straight lines I'm going to create trees out of those. So I'm just going to go here and there. They can be crooked, but they're far, far away. Some are dead, but there'll be a few live ones that I'm going to make the pines out of. But they're background trees. And the palette knife does a great job of straight lines. Now I'm taking a little bit of sap green with a touch of Van Dyke brown. I want a dark green in there. So I'm taking a fan brush and I'm just gently using the edge corner, and I'm shaping out my trees. Just tapping real light. And if you find that it doesn't stick, just dip your brush into a little thinner, tap it off on a paper towel, and then reload your brush into the paint. I won't be doing a lot of trees here, just a couple of little clusters. Some short, some tall. And I'm taking a round brush, I'm just tapping the base of those trees to make it look kind of grassy there, where I'm creating a little lumps of land. I'm taking a fan brush with some sap green, a little bit of brown, just lifting up, just creating a little land mass right back there. Now I'm pulling down, creating some shadows in the water of the trees. You can make taller ones, like an upside down tree. And you take the brush, the big one, and go straight across, blend it once or twice, and then it'll look like it's underwater. Just pulling those grassies as shadows in that water. I'm taking a palette knife with some medium brown. I'm just creating a little dirt in there, a little land. Now I'm putting some rocks in the front. That would be Van Dyke brown. Just little rocks sticking out of the water. Now I'm taking a palette knife and creating a little bit of ripple with some white underneath those rocks. A little ripple effect. Same way in the back, you can put some right underneath that brown. Now, moving to the front, I've created a little bit of a landmass there, grassy area with some Van Dyke brown, a little burnt sienna at the base. Make it look like a rock first, and then start adding your grassies with a fan brush with a little bit of green, sap green and yellow, and just push upward. You can have some darker ones in there with the brown, and then touches of yellow in the middle. I'm going underneath that with palette knife with some water ripples underneath that. So now moving forward, I'm going to be putting in a few trees with some Van Dyke brown. I've got a little filbert that I'm using, just going almost to the top of your canvas because they're quite tall. I'll be putting in about maybe 5 or 6, but they're going to be, you know, I have quite a few branches on. Those are eventually going to be bigger, not real big trees, but trees. And if you were behind that big one in the front, just making branches. You don't have to be real fussy, that some of it will be covered up with leaves. Just put as many little branches as you want in there. So now I've got sap green with a touch of cad yellow. Fan brush. I'm going to create a pine tree right on the edge of the canvas. Bigger pine tree. And I'm loaded up my fan brush. I'm just pushing downward, and it will pretty much shape itself. Just tapping, you know, back and forth, and filling in where you want. I'm going to be going pretty much all the way to the bottom with this one. Now on a 1-inch, I've got some Van Dyke brown and a little bit of burnt sienna, and I'm tapping in some land right there where those trees are. Bushy area. It's just background color. I'm going to come out just a little ways. Just tapping pretty much almost to the bottom. I'm going to be making some rocks with a palette knife. Kind of hard to see, but you'll see toward the end. I decided to tap in some more evergreen there. Now I'm going to be tapping in some highlights with a little bit of cad yellow on my fan brush. Just a little bit of highlights on that big tree. Just here and there. Now on the bottom left, I'm going to be putting some flat rocks, kind of shaping where they're going to go. I'll be putting in a lot of gray. You see the gray pulled down. I've got a little yellow in there and some dark brown, maybe a little bit of burnt sienna in those stones. And I've added a fallen tree there down in the middle, it's just Van Dyke brown, shaping toward the other bank, adding some little gnarly little branches that stick up. Nothing to that. And I'm adding some more branches. I've got a fan brush. I am tapping in some leaves on those trees and tapping in the middle there, some brushwork. Now I'm adding some highlights, kind of some bushes there at the base of that cluster of trees with cad yellow. Just here and there, some little bushes. I'll even have some hanging over the bank there. A little bit of sap green and yellow. And some more in between the trees. Almost looks like there's a pine tree in there hidden. There's just lots of bushes, highlighting those bushes. Now I'm touching up the very, very back tree there with a little darker color. I almost see a finished painting here. Wow, that didn't take long. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. I sure did. If you want to see more, click the like button, follow me, and share if you want. That would be great. Until next time, God bless, and happy painting.